we've seen a lot of surprises in 2011-12 NBA campaign. I cannot, off the top of my head, even in the back of my head, think of a bigger surprise, a bigger shocking development than Vinny Del Negro and the up and down turmoil this man has found himself in this season. But I tell you what, analyzing and really breaking down what this guy has done this year is remarkable, is flat out incredible, considering the fact that he was written off by every single LA outlet known to mankind, was told that the locker room was tuning him out, was told that he was overmatched, and was told that he didn't have the necessary qualifications to lead a talented team to the promised land. And we don't know if those questions are going to be answered anytime soon, but we do know this. Vinny Del Negro has very much turned this season around to not just going out of the cloud of being a laughingstock and being someone that seemed to be overmatched both in dealing with the media and on the court, but a guy that I think is on the forefront and in strong contention to be Coach of the Year in 2011-2012. Think about it. 3 weeks ago, when this guy was under the most scrutiny and there was the most criticism being directed his way, he has gone 11-2 since then, folks. He's done it without the third leading scorer, the second leading guy in assists on their team, a guy that has been to the All-Star game 5 times, and a guy that won the 2004 NBA Finals MVP award in Chauncey Billups. And Vinny Del Negro is still getting it done. They are 6-17 as far as the winning percentage goes, 37-23 with 6 games remaining. I want you to think about this for a second. Clippers have been around since 1970. That's 42 years. If they go, I want to say let's say 3-3. If they go 3-3, they're going to have a winning percentage over 600. That would be the highest winning percentage in the history of that franchise. And this is a guy that, again, people said can't coach, was outmatched, didn't preach defense, didn't have the respect and the credibility to reach out and get the mind and the heart and the soul of guys of the caliber of Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. And this guy has done a phenomenal job. He's a Coach of the Year in my mind. He's Coach of the Year. To lose Chauncey Billups the way they did, Chris Paul's missed 5 games, folks. Blake Griffin is not the fine-tuned, polished NBA All-Star that a lot of people make him out to be. He's a great athlete. He's a good basketball player. But he's not a All-NBA type of performer. Chris Paul, even, is not the best point guard in the NBA. There are teams who have a lot more talent. There are teams that have a lot more of a veteran presence than the Clippers, that have more cohesion. But the fact that the Clippers are 14 games over 500 is remarkable. And Vinny Del Negro is having the best season of his career. He's never had a season where he's had a ball club over 500 before. They're 14 games over 500. Remember, Jack Ramsey has coached this franchise. Jack Ramsey, may I remind you, was voted one of the top 10 coaches in the 1996-97 NBA poll. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a revered and beloved figure in this game. Larry Brown coached for this franchise. Mike Dunleavy, who was Coach of the Year, coached for this franchise. For God's sakes, Bill Fitch, who is a 2-time winner of the NBA Coach of the Year award, coached this franchise. But I got news for you. This season that Del Negro is having is better than all of them. All of them. You got to give this guy an incredible amount of respect. He's got all the credibility in the world as far as I'm concerned. For him to do what he's done, with Paul missing 5 games, and all the substitutions and changes of the rotation, and all the acquisitions, whether it's Kenyon Martin, whether it's guys like, I want to say, not Mo Williams, but of course, getting Nick Young, that was an addition. He's a shoot-first guard, so they had to get used to that. The fact that they had to go after a guy like Randy Foye, that was an adjustment they had to make. And they seem to be a team that if they had Chauncey Billups, they might just be one of, if not the best team in the NBA. That's how great of a job Del Negro has done. And they have a chance and a very legitimate shot to finish as one of the top 5 teams in the NBA this season. Alvin Gentry coached this team too, folks. Mike Dunleavy coached his team. Del Negro has a better winning percentage than Gentry, than Bill Fitch, and of course than Dunleavy had. And Dunleavy had that great team with Cassell and Maggette, and I won't mention Daniel Ewing forgetting to guard Raja Bell on that inbound play, but that's a whole nother discussion. But that was a loaded team in 2005, 2006, and of course they had the resurgence of Cuttino Mobley. So we got to be honest. We got to be flat out forthright with Vinny Del Negro. Vinny, you belong as an NBA coach. In my opinion, what you've done, given the injuries, given all the new adjustments, in a 66-game schedule nonetheless, to adapt to a first-year point guard for that team, to adapt to Blake Griffin, who we all know by leaps and bounds has so much room for growth. His ceiling is all the way in another stratosphere because he is so not developed and he is not actualized even close to his potential. He hasn't even knocked on the tip of the iceberg yet. And what you have done with an injured squad is incredible. And I want to say one other thing. Let's not be so quick to write off coaches and want them gone. Because going 11-2, but the potential of having one of the 5 best records in the NBA when it's all said and done this season, and the fact that it's going to be, I think, the all-time greatest regular season for an LA Clippers team in a 42-year history is nothing to shake your head at. It is something to be marveled at. It is something to be revered. And Vinny Del Negro, you, my friend, have had a revering type of season. You have had a very prolific season, and you have proven to the masses, not just to basketball fans, that you belong as a professional head coach. And I congratulate you. Now, Stan Van Gundy is enduring some of the trials and tribulations that you had to endure previously. You'd be a good guy to reach out to. I'm going to put that out there for you, Mr. Del Negro. But congratulations on the season you've had. I'm going to talk about tomorrow the game between the Thunder and the Clippers. I think those have large ramifications and large, I want to say, harbingers on what is going to eventually happen in the 2011-12 playoffs, because I am simply not sold on this Thunder team yet. To me, they're too lackadaisical. They play too much of a laissez-faire offense, and there's too much ball watching. Yes, I understand they have incredible personnel. They got great pieces. They're a very easy team to want to get behind, but I have questions about them. But I'm going to, of course, analyze and break it down and discuss what I think the takeaway is from tonight's game, Thunder vs. Clippers at 10:30. You don't want to miss it, folks. And I appreciate you not missing my podcast. Sports with Shep, David Shepard, always coming at you with the hottest topics in sports. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate your wisdom and your insight and your feedback. And until next time, I want to say, everybody, have a great Monday, and thank you for listening.